Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of my DW Hobby Astro Junior build. Today we're going to be getting right into the wing panels. We finished up the tail feathers yesterday, so we're continuing on here. A couple things I wanted to show you. First of all, I got the wing tips glued up just to kind of get me primed up and ready to go. Real easy. Yesterday I was talking about the labeling of the parts. I just wanted to show you this. It's not a real huge deal. You can figure this out pretty easily if you give it a little thought, but I just wanted to show you some stuff here. So this is one of the ribs, and we have the W4 laser etched right into the piece, which is awesome. Now this rib is labeled on the cutout. Still not a real issue, but it's a little inconsistencies here. I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's a technical reason that I'm not thinking of. And then this piece wasn't labeled at all. I just sort of etched in the part. The part was labeled next to it. And then you got some pieces like this where you have laser etching part numbers, and this one doesn't have one. So, I mean, they're identical parts, so you could figure it out. But something for DW Hobby to consider. But those are all the parts for the wings, both wings. Something else here, these dehedral braces are really cool because they actually, the other set's still in the box, but they actually gave you 2 options for the amount of dehedral you want, more or less. I will be going with the less angle because this kit does have aileron, so it's not going to need as much dehedral. And I'm hoping it'll end up more of a sport model anyways, so we're going to go with the less dehedral. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start looking at these instructions here, seeing what ribs I need, spars, shear webbing, leading, trailing edges, all that cool stuff. And see if we can't get one of these panels laid out. So I'm going to go ahead and find all the parts I need for that, and then I will get right back to you. See you in a minute. Okay, and we are back again. I got all of the main ribs tacked in up here at the shear webbing and the lower spar. I'll be putting a permanent wood joint on here with some wood glue when it's all done. So basically it's just tacked together. So I still have these shorter half ribs to glue in. This one here, and this one here. But when you fit it in, it rocks back and forth a bit. So I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to go ahead and find the leading edge, and so I have a better way of judging how to line that up vertically. So before I glue these short half ribs in, I'll find the leading edge and figure out what's going on with that. And also this last short half rib here doesn't line up on the plans. Not a showstopper, just something to keep in mind if you're building this. Everything else lined up perfectly except that one. So DW, you need to make some adjustments on your plans there, or I don't know, actually probably fix the laser cutting. I'm not sure. Not a big deal. We're going to continue on here now and see how much more we can get done. Okay, and we're back. I went in and I found the first part of the leading edge, the sub leading edge, and got it glued in place here. There's another leading edge piece that will go on top, clad to the front of this sub leading edge. We'll get to that in a minute. The only thing you really need to pay attention to when you're gluing in this sub leading edge is It's flat on one end, where it meets this last rib before the wingtip. This end has a slight taper to it for the dihedral. Again, I don't fully understand yet exactly how I'm going to make the new angle for there, but I'll figure that out. It's not a big deal. I also got the top spar in. Nice and flat. I did notice one thing though when I was assembling this first part here with this shear webbing, is the grain on this shear webbing is going horizontally. I don't think that's right. Every plane I've ever built in the past with shear webbing, the grain is always vertical. That's how it takes the load, the wing bending, the compression. So I'm not sure that's right. I think DW needs to take another look at that and see about getting this grain set up vertically. But otherwise, it feels pretty strong. It's going together well. I think the next thing I'm going to work on here is I'm going to turn it around and get this trailing edge going. And right in here, most of these ribs are balsa, but you have some ply ribs. This is kind of like another little root rib here, because that's where the aileron's going to start right there and end up here on this ply piece, ply rib. I'm thinking, haven't really looked yet, but I'm thinking we're probably going to be cutting off the rear section of these ribs so that the aileron will fit in there. But we'll see as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and find out what I got going on with the trailing edge and see if I can't get something going there. And I will be right back. Okay, hello, we're back again. Got some more done. Made a heck of a lot of progress here, and it's only been about 3.5 hours. But got the trailing edge piece in here. It just slotted right into these ribs, and then we cut the excess rib off here to so that we could accept the aileron. It goes right there. And kudos to DW, because they already pre-hinged, put the hinge slots in for the aileron. Beautiful. Love that. Saves me a step later. The wingtip, now, a little clunky. I got it together as best I could. Things you want to pay attention to: these rib pieces here are taller than this rib, so you want to make sure you press this all the way down. You want all the excess on the top, because there's going to be some sheeting here, I believe. So that's why we have that sticking up a little bit there. Not really crazy how these pieces fit together here. I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of work to get this covering to look good here. I'm gonna have to fill that in and all around here so that it doesn't show through the covering. And then these pieces here, the way they fit together, if I was designing this kit, I would have left these long and then required the builder to cut them short and put a little taper on, so they kind of all fit in there together like a puzzle. But it's okay. They're glued in there real strong, and then I'll have to again, some filler or something in some of these slots here, so that the covering will look good when it's on there. But anyways, it's on there, and we're going to be continuing on, excuse me. We've got sheeting coming up soon. We're going to make a D-box on the front here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and put in my permanent glue joint. I use Elmer's wood glue, Carpenter's wood glue. works fine. And I get a small little paintbrush, and I'll paint some. Every joint here will get just a little bit of it, and so that I can set that and let that dry. I want to get these done in here before I put the sheeting on, obviously. So, yeah, we're making pretty good progress. I'm going to go ahead, glue this up, set it aside, take a little break, and we'll come back and we'll see about getting the sheeting going. So, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Got that wood glue put on here. I know I said I was going to work on the sheeting next, but then I remembered I've got to get this final dihedral, the last rib put in here at the angle for the dihedral. And I need to get that done probably before I put the sheeting on here, so that's going to wait for now. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video. When I come back next week, I'm getting ready to start a 5-day, 12-hour shift starting tomorrow. So it'll be next Thursday before I'm off again. But when I come back for the next video, I'm going to go ahead and I'll have the other wing panel up to this point, so that we can figure out the dihedral and get them ready to join. We won't join them yet, but I need to get that figured out, that angle, before the sheeting goes on. So I'll go ahead and get that panel up to this point, and then we'll continue on. The next video should have these wings all finished, all joined up, just needing sanding and covering. So thank you for joining in again. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope I can see you all tuning in for the next video. Thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend if you're off. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.